Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for watching this video. This is Christy Luis from Dostoevsky in Space, and I have some co-hosts here with me today. We're going to be co-hosting a read-along of Letters to the Diminished Church by Dorothy L. Sayers. She's one of my... Yes, and Emma has a copy. Dorothy L. Sayers is one of my top 5 authors. She's amazing. She's a theologian. She was a playwright. She was a poet. She wrote crime fiction. So I'm just really excited to read this. It's not essays, is it, Emma? It's like, is it a cohesive book with chapters?
It is, but they are mostly, some of them are essays and some of them are talks that she gave. A lot of them are lectures she gave. So a lot of them do kind of stand alone, but they're all on really great topics of faith and yeah.
Oh, that's exciting. Okay, so we were just talking about this where you can sort of read the whole thing with us, or you could read parts of it and show up and discuss and share your thoughts, because we will be having a live show. So the live show is going to be on November 18th, which is a Thursday. So it'll be at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time on my channel right here. So, and I just wanted to introduce my co-host real quick and let them share their thoughts, why they're excited to read this, and maybe it'll interest you guys in joining us. We really hope that you do. Victoria, you want to go first?
Sure. My channel is A Musical Bookworm. My name is Victoria. Hello. I have never read Dorothy Sayers before, so this will be my first delving into her. And I am interested in her. Well, first of all, the first time I heard of Dorothy Sayers was from Christy's channel. So I don't remember what book you were talking about exactly, but you were talking something up.
It could be anything. It's all so good.
And I was like, oh, that sounds really good. That sounds something I should check out, just like most of the books that Christy talks about. And I'm really interested in her as like a woman theologian of that time period too, because it's not super common. And I don't know that I've really read from a woman in apologetics, like writing in apologetics at the time of like C.S. Lewis and those people. So I'm very curious to hear her perspective in that field at that time. And I would assume she would have to have really strong convictions as a woman writing about theology at that time. So I'm very curious and I'm really excited.
She is a super strong woman. I think you'll like her. Go ahead, Emma. Share your thoughts.
Yeah, so I read Letters to a Diminished Church for the first time last summer. Like Christy, I'm a huge fan of Dorothy Sayers. I found a dilapidated copy of the Lord Peter short stories at a bookshop one time, and I bought it and just fell in love with Lord Peter. He's so amazing, so bookish, the perfect combination of like Bertie Wooster from P.G. Wodehouse and Sherlock Holmes. And especially in like the Harriet Vane books, those are my favorites. Like there are such beautiful kind of touches of like the author, Dorothy Sayers herself, like obviously her faith and her convictions and her beliefs, like that kind of sneak in. And so it's so exciting to read more about her faith and more about her belief in God and just her thoughts on life and creativity and like work, what it really means to work. I feel like she just goes like really deep to like the heart of, what it is to live a good life and like what it means to believe in God and what it really means to be a Christian. And her viewpoint is so like nuanced and deep. Like, she recognizes this is a deep subject that requires a lot of thought and coming at it from, a lot of different perspectives. And so I just was so impressed with the essays. When I read them for the first time, like there's so much meat in them. I knew it was something I'd want to come back to. So I was so excited when Christy invited me. I think this is going to be really fun.
Yes. Oh man. Yes. So something that I really love that you mentioned was that she wrote the crime fiction and that was like really popular stuff. It was like pre-World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like it's just kind of uncommon that somebody is like popular in every genre that they write in.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that like Lord Peter was super popular and she could have kept writing about Lord Peter, but she loved theology and she loved Dante, which you hear her talk a little bit about Dante in this. I'm actually reading her translation of the Divine Comedy right now. So that's kind of fun to compare what she says about Dante in this. But like she loved Dante so much that she was like, you know what, I'm going to shelve Lord Peter and instead I'm going to translate the Divine Comedy. So it's like just so much respect. She was, her faith was so deep and like her love of literature, which you can see in Lord Peter, was so deep, and then the way she just really embraces it in Letters to a Diminished Church and in her Dante translation is so awesome.
Yes, and she has such high like standards for her art as well as her thought. Like everything that she does has just really high standards, and she doesn't let thought get in the way of a good story, but she also doesn't just do anything to sell, pretty much. She also puts in her conviction. So it's just an amazing blend. And Victoria mentioned being interested in a woman theologian of the time. She was actually friends with the Inklings as well. So she was like right in there for those kind of conversations.
She was in the middle of Oxford too. That's why like Gaudy Night, the Lord Peter book, is so good. But then I feel like in Letters to a Diminished Church, you get to see her like more kind of in her actual, kind of Oxford thinking role.
Yes. Okay, Carla, you're on.
I am Carla with Race to Walk, and I do Bible studies and talk about books. And I have a degree in cultural apologetics from Houston Baptist University, and pretty much our entire program is centered around the Lewis's idea of mere Christianity. And so we read a lot of Lewis, a lot of the other Inklings, but I haven't ever read anything by Dorothy L. Sayers. And so I'm excited to read it, especially in this time right now. It really seems like, C.S. Lewis wrote Mere Christianity. It started out as radio talks, and he was talking to a people in the middle of a war in a really hard time. And they were, they have a state church. And so they literally are a Christian nation. But it was, when she's talking about a diminished church, it was like they had forgotten, what their faith was. They didn't know really what it meant. And that was, I think, one of the kind of the most impactful things to me about that book is that it started out as radio talks, but he was asked to do it because he was a chaplain for the Royal Air Force, and he went and he would talk to these young men who were going up, and there was a very high mortality rate, and most of them weren't going to come back. And so that's where that whole conversation started. And so they're going to defend something, this people, and this heart, this core, this church has been hollowed out. And I haven't read this book yet, but I think it all kind of fits into what they all were saying. You even see that in Tolkien's, like the Lord of the Rings. He wanted to have a story, a bringing together of a people. And I kind of see that theme through all of them. Like, this is our common. This is what we have in common. This is who we are as a people. And just reading about this, it seems like that's what Dorothy Sayers is trying to do, reminding the church who they are.
And you're all about that on your channel. You're always calling out the church and on what they need to work on and stuff, which I love.
I'm actually rendering right now my Bible study for Job 20, and it turned into more of that than I thought it was going to, because it's, God's always calling people to account all the way through the Bible. It doesn't matter where you hit, Old Testament or New Testament. The story's still the same. We get focused on ourselves and not on who we are really supposed to be focused on.
Excellent. Oh, this is so exciting. I feel like everybody here will have our own things to like bring to it. So yes, because Emma's already read this. So it's just going to be like really cool. And Carla has all this background knowledge about apologetics, and Victoria being introduced to Sayers for the first time. I'm just hoping you become a fangirl. Yeah, I'm excited. This is going to be great.
I'm already a fangirl.
Woo! Hey guys, so sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to mention, I totally forgot, we will be having discussion about letters to the Diminished Church in Victoria's Discord, which I will have linked down below. So please join us there if you're interested in chatting about it with us, like more real time, like before the live show, just head over there. And also, Alan from the Library of Alexandria may be joining us, so just keep your eye open for that and encourage him to read it if you want to see him read it. So, okay, thanks. Okay, well, thank you so much, everybody who is watching and everybody who is co-hosting with me. Thank you so much, ladies. I really can't wait. We will again have the live show on November 18th at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time here on my channel. I hope that you'll join us. Nonfiction November, it's a Nonfiction November approved read along. So, okay, well, take care and we'll talk to you soon.